My name is Christian and I'm working as an engineer at Full Stack Energy. So in this video, we'll be talking about OCPP messages. And I will be talking about format of the messages. In the previous video, we were talking about OCPP over WebSockets. We know how to make a connection and we understand that most OCPP implementation is over WebSockets. And what I have here is I have my simulator. I can connect that into my central system and that's connected. So to talk about the messages, I will send here a boot notification. So that will be one of the basic kind of messages, and we'll be talking about different messages in the later videos. So let's send a boot notification. If I will scroll down here, I have printed out messages that have been sent from my simulator to the central system and from the central system back to my simulator. And basically we have two messages. Here is the one that I sent. It's a boot notification that I just sent, and this is actually a response. Let's talk about what's actually included in that. I will copy both of them. It will be easier to work with. So I will copy that and I'll go to my IDE and I can paste it here. So basically what we have here, and let's name this. I will name this constant request, and I will put it in next line, and I will put whatever we send it there in the next line, so it will be easier to see. So basically my request here, this is what I sent from my simulator. So I have a simulator, I clicked on this, and the boot notification has been sent from, normally that will be sent from the charger, but in our case it's from the simulator. So we have that been sent here. This is actually response that actually has been returned from the central system, and we'll be talking that about that in a second. So this is a request that I sent. It's an array, a list of 4 different things. So if we want to know what is the format that needs to be sent, let's go to the specification. So this time we're not going to open OCPP 1.6 edition 2, we'll open OCPP J 1.6 specification. We are working with JSON implementation. The S stands for SOAP, and this is actually deprecated, so JSON is the way to use with OCPP. And I will open this OCPP J 1.6 specification file. And if we'll go to page, I believe it's page 10, we have a message type. So basically the first bit of information that we send is a message type. And we have 3 different types of the messages. We have call, we have call result, and call error. So you see that's associated with a number 2, 3, and 4. So if we go back to IDE, what we have is when we send that message from our simulator, which is charger, to central system, we send 2. That means it's a type of call. And whenever we have a response, that was 3. So going back to the specification, you see that was call, client to server, 2, and that was result, so 3, and that was server to client. So basically that number, the first bit in that information that you sent, is a number will tell you if that was a call, if that was a response to that call, or if that was an error. So if the message is wrong or the format is incorrect or something, you sometimes might not have like 3, but you will have it 4. So based on that number alone, you can tell if the message was right or not. So call is 2, then we have result, which is 3, and then we have call error, which is 4. So that's the first bit here. We have call here that has been sent, and we can see the response that we get back from the central system is 3. The next bit here is unique ID. So going back into specification here, we have message ID here, and basically that's a maximum of 36 characters that allow for GUI ID, and it's a string type. So basically this message ID helps us identify messages. So basically this is made up a string of characters and numbers. I could put anything here. It can be up to 36 characters, but I can put 32. Whenever I send a request, I need to make this unique. And this is very important because when I get a response back, I will compare if the response is associated with my request. That means if I have 23 here and something different then I won't be able to make a connection between those. WebSocket is open live connection. That means you don't send a request and you won't get the response back straight away. You might send a few requests and then later on you might have a few responses. So you need to find a way to associate it with responses with requests that you sent. So this unique number here will tell you which request that is associated with. So this will tell you it's a call result, and this will tell you for what message. And this unique ID here is a way to do it. To implement something like this in most of the languages, you will have a library or UUID. So in our case, we can have a random UUID, for example, that kind of method that we can use it from Node Crypto, or you can install a package for UUID and you can generate that. So basically, whatever you send a request to the server, you need to have that. You can have like auto increment integer as well converted to string, but like it's better to have something very lengthy, random generated. So it will be very unlikely that you will have that repeated anywhere. So that needs to be unique, and in that case, you can tell the response was associated with that request. So that's the second bit here in the request that you are sending. And the third one is actually a name of the method. If we go back to the specification here, we have a different messages. So basically what we are doing is we have a call. So call has that message type ID. We talked about it already. Then we have unique ID. And the third one is action. So basically action is just a name of the method that we are sending. And in the OCPP specification, you will have all the allowed method that you can call. So this action, in our case, it's a boot notification. So what we've done is we sent boot notification. That's the name of the method. Here, an action. And the last bit there is basically a payload. So payload can be, it's an object here, and can be any information that you would like to send. It will be different for every single action type. So boot notification kind of sends that kind of information, but you will send different pieces of information with different actions. So boot notification requires this, and then other requires this, and OCPP actually specify that. So this will be the format for the call. We have type, unique ID, action, and payload, which is basically a data that we are sending. But call result is a little bit different. So what we have here is we have message type ID. Usually that's 3 because it's a response. And then unique ID, which is basically repeating whatever was here. And then we have a payload. That means it's a data that can be returned. So sometimes central system returns some data and it will be in the same thing. So in the call, we have 4. And in the response, we have a call result. So we have 3 here, message type and unique ID. We don't have that action anymore because we don't need it. We know that it's a response type. We know that unique ID, so we know with what action that's associated with, and then we can provide some data back to the charger. So the payload. That data can be different. So for boot notification, I said like I'm sending charger provider ABB, and it's a charger point model Terra. And from what I got from my central system is response, unique ID for the same thing that I sent it here. So that matches. And then we have a payload, which is the third data here, and basically the central system return me current time, which is basically to match the time zone. So if you have the same time on the charger as you have on the central system, then you are good to go. But sometimes it's good to compare what's the time zone there or the current time of the central system, just to align them properly. And then we have status accepted or rejected, and then we have interval, which is kind of require interval to send the heartbeats back to the central system. So after that seconds, it will put your charger offline if the central system won't hear back from you. So basically this depends on the action response. So if that's a response for boot notification bar, but different actions will have a different kind of responses. But basically the format of messages works like this. You send a list of the things with different bits. The call will have type, ID, action, payload, and the response will have type, ID, and payload. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And we'll be talking about different messages in the next video.